Hey, Guoba here with a guide on Soldier 11. She is the only person of her faction right now. How lonely. But you can make her feel better by playing and building her right. So today we'll go through her kit, gameplay tips and mechanics, cool combos, and her best builds with disk drives and Wenjins. We will also discuss some teams. Like and sub and share if you enjoyed this video, and let's begin. Soldier 11 is an S-rank fire attack type character, meaning she is a main DPS. She has a decently high attack, and her core stat is crit rate, so she will scale with it as you level her up to a base of 19.4% at level 60. Now, onto abilities. Soldier 11's basic attacks have two modes. You have the mash your basic attack button and do no damage mode, or the level 99 Mafia Boss fire basic attack mode. Basically, when timing your basic attacks correctly, you'll transform your basic attacks from warm-up sparks to fire suppression. This goes from a weak physical attack to a fiery basic attack that is heavily buffed by her kit and fire damage % buffs. A rotation of fire suppression looks to do at least 3.5 times the damage of a warm-up sparks combo. Also note that the fourth basic attack in the string does way more damage than the rest and will be a heavy attack. So your goal when playing her is to time her basic attacks correctly, giving her an insane on-field presence. She doesn't need an EX or charge attack to be able to spam powerful on-field attacks, just patience and muscle memory. The way you time her basic attacks is kind of hard to explain. Basically, you want a basic attack near the end of the animation from your previous attack. Do basic 1 and basic 2 near the end of the animation. Continue doing that for each basic and they'll all be empowered. There are also audio cues for each one, a whoosh, a slash, and a whip crackle type audio sound. You can use these to get into the rhythm, and turning up the S-Effects volume meter may help. The very first basic won't be empowered unless you use an attack before it. So our very first combo is basic 1, 2, 3, 4, all with perfect timing. If that didn't help you, I recommend going into free VR training mode and turning off the enemy's movements and just going into a corner and practicing the timing. Now her EX special is a big fiery slash doing lots of damage and daze in an AoE pattern. After using it, your basic attacks and dash attacks are transformed into their enhanced version for 15 seconds or 8 procs. So basically, after using her EX, you won't need to time her basic attacks to get the empowered versions for 8 basics or 2 full basic strings. So here, you can just mash the button. Her EX special has a long animation time, and you can animation cancel this with a swap. Therefore, we can do another combo. EX special into backward swap into your support, into EX special on them, into quick assist on Soldier 11. This chains a lot of damage in a quick amount of time. The reason we backward swap is because our support is on the slot to our left in an optimal team order. Backward swapping can be achieved via the C key on mouse and keyboard, and you can rebind this at will. Her chain attack is your regular high damaging chain attack, but she will also gain the 8 fire suppression stacks here, so she can spam basics without having to time them. And finally, her ultimate is a smaller AoE attack, but again, it lets her trigger another 8 fire suppression attacks. So if you want to maximize fire suppression hits without having to time your attacks, you can do the following combo. EX special, basic 1, 2, 3, 4, basic 1, 2, 3, 4, ultimate, and then 2 more basic 1, 2, 3, 4s. You won't have time to do all of this on a stunned boss though. On a stunned boss, you have a limited time to act. You want to stun the enemy, chain attack, end on a support or fast animation unit, and then quick assist or swap to Soldier. Then you'll hopefully have kept enough energy to EX special into ultimate into 2 empowered basic attack strings. If you are running her signature, you may want to pop in a quick 4 enhanced basics just before the ultimate in order to maximize the Brimstone's combat attacks and buff. Versus trash mobs, you'll have to time your empowered basic attack combos, and then you can hit them with the razzle dazzle quick assist combos if you need to chase them across the map. I also recommend grouping enemies together if you can. I like using Ben for this, and this lets me hit them all with the smaller AoE attacks and my full combo in general. Finally, her core passive and additional ability. When triggering fire suppression during her basics or dash attacks, you increase that attack's damage by up to 70% at max level. What this means is those puny physical attacks are even weaker in comparison. You'll really want to get the timing down right, and if you can't, maybe Soldier isn't for you. Though her EX special, chain attacks, and ultimates do give her 8 fire suppression stacks each, so you can always abuse them. Her additional ability will grant her 10% fire damage, buffing all fire type attacks she deals. Then she gains an additional 22.5% fire damage versus stunned enemies. So this makes sure she is great on field at all times, but even stronger during that burst period when the enemy is sitting down crying. The Soldier 11 is a very potent DPS that can make use of her most powerful attacks when she likes. With tons of weak enemies, you can always chain attack and gain 3 fire suppression stacks to keep going on ham. My only problem is all she does is damage, and so she is susceptible to power creep when we get a future limited fire DPS. But for now, she is our only fire DPS and is uncontested in this role, allowing for a very solid start to Zenless Zone Zero's meta. Now, let's check out her Mindscapes. Her first one is really nice for quality of life. If she has under 40 energy, her energy is recovered to 80. So ideally you EX special, swap out to another unit with the animation cancel, and then swap back in and activate this ASAP in order to abuse the maximum energy it can provide. This works for our quick assist support combo. So now you can EX special, backwards swap animation cancel, EX special on your support, and then EX special again on soldier. Whether you swap after that is just dependent on your energy. You can also save this EX special if needed. Her M2 is just a really nice damage percent buff to basics, dash attacks, and dodge counters when she triggers her fire suppressions. Not much else to say. Her M4 is another quality of life one, giving her damage reduction and an anti-interrupt increase during her fire suppression attacks. I don't have M4 Soldier 11, so I can't test this, but I imagine this greatly reduces the impact of weaker enemies on cancelling her combo with staggers. She will also now gain invulnerability during the 4th basic hit, meaning a free iframe and avoiding damage. Her final Mindscape gives her 8 stacks of charge from her EX, chain, or ult, basically like how she gains 8 fire suppression stacks. These will be consumed during fire suppression in order to ignore 25% fire res, basically a 1.25 times damage increase to these attacks. It's a very strong final Mindscape to have. Now let's move on to builds. You will be equipping her with a 4-piece Infernal Metal set and a 2-piece Woodpecker Electro set. You do have the option of going for Woodpecker, but Inferno's 28% crit rate is just unmatched in power. You have to keep consistent burn uptime, but that's fine in her current best teams. And I do not recommend Puffer Electro at all for Soldier 11. For main stats, hit her with the old crit rate or crit damage disc 4, fire damage percent in disc 5, and attack percent in disc 6. Considering the high crit rate of Infernal Metal and her high innate crit rate, crit damage is usually advised. The substats will just be chasing crit rate, crit damage, and attack percent. For W engines, Soldier isn't as bad as Ellen was. Her signature is of course synergistic with her basic attack spamming playstyle, but since it is only an attack percent and combat attack percent stat stick, well then something like Starlight Engine can come quite close. And so you won't really miss out on much with any universal A-rank Wenjin. The only ones that fall off going from a burst to standard DPS rotation are Necromartyr's Steel Cushion and Street Superstar, as we can only really abuse their passives in our burst rotation. I definitely recommend picking up Starlight Engine as it's a very nice, free, and universal A-rank Wenjin. And shall we finish with teams? You'll definitely want her additional ability to bring a fire support or stun unit. These can be Lucy for support or Khalida or Ben for stun. This in fact brings us the mono fire team of Lucy, Soldier 11, and Ben. It's very free-to-play friendly. Of course, you can bring in Khalida if you have her. You also have the possibility of running Ben and Khalida, but you lose out on a large attack buff from Lucy, as well as the quick assist benefits. There is also a Disorder Anomaly team going around with Lucy, Soldier 11, Piper. My only problem is Disorder consumes the previous anomaly. So if you proc Burn before Assault, you will consume Burn and bye-bye 28% crit rate. Disorder is a huge amount of quick damage though, so it could make up for it, but you take a longer amount of time to stun due to lacking your usual stun unit. It is fun and cool, but we aren't in the endgame yet, so we can't see what is truly best. Anyways, I hope this video on Soldier 11 helped, and like and sub if it did. Also let me know what you run with her, and if you're a basic attack timing god. Thanks for watching, and have a good day.